Everyone at Crest Hill High knew the fall dance was a big deal, but no one expected it to end with a girl spinning like a storm and bullies crying in stretchers. It all started when 16-year-old Nia Daniels stepped into the gymnasium with trembling hands and a fluttering heart. It was her first school event since moving to town just a few weeks ago. She had tried her best to fit in, kept her head down, offered quiet smiles, and hoped no one would notice how she recycled clothes from thrift stores, how her family was still unpacking from a life they had to leave behind. Her mother had stitched the lavender dress she was wearing that night. It wasn't flashy, just simple satin with hand-sewn beads, but it meant the world to Nia. Her mom had stayed up 2 nights straight to finish it in time. The dress wasn't just fabric, it was love, sacrifice, and hope woven into each thread. At the center of the gym, music pulsed with energy, and fairy lights sparkled above. Nia watched other students laugh, dance, take selfies, and whisper in little circles. She stood alone near the punch table, clutching her cup too tightly, afraid of spilling, afraid of being noticed. But they noticed. Brielle, the self-declared queen bee of Crest Hill High, had been watching Nia for days. With icy blue eyes and a smirk that could cut glass, Brielle didn't take kindly to girls who looked different, who didn't know their place. And to her, Nia was an easy target. "Nice dress," Brielle said, sidling up to her with her pack of friends in tow. "Did your grandma wear it first?" Nia blinked, unsure how to respond. "My mom made it." That was the opening Brielle needed. Ah, how sweet. Homemade. That explains everything. The laughter around her stung worse than slaps. Nia tried to turn away, but before she could, Brielle reached out and yanked at the beaded neckline. There was a rip. Time seemed to freeze as the sound echoed louder than the music in Nia's ears. Someone gasped. Someone else laughed. Nia looked down to see her carefully made dress torn across the shoulder, the beads scattering like broken dreams on the polished floor. "Oops," Brielle sneered. Nia stood there, paralyzed. Her vision blurred with tears she refused to let fall. Her heart pounded like a drum against her chest, but in that moment, humiliated, broken, furious, something changed. She took a deep breath. And then she spun. Not just metaphorically. Nia had been a dancer before everything changed, before her father passed, before the move, before her world crumbled. Dance was the one thing that still lived in her bones, that no one could take away. And so, in that moment of pain, she did what she knew best. She closed her eyes. She stepped back. And she spun. At first, the crowd thought she'd lost it. But the movement was sharp, precise, and powerful. She twirled like a storm, her torn dress billowing around her, beads catching the light like stars. Her dance was rage, sorrow, and freedom crashing through every movement. And the energy, something in it was different. She didn't notice Brielle trying to push her again. She didn't see the panic on her face. All Nia knew was that she was done being small. Her last spin had so much force that when Brielle stumbled too close, she was caught off guard, tripped, and went flying backward into the dessert table with a loud crash. Her 2 sidekicks rushed to help, but slipped on the spilled punch and fell hard, one twisting her wrist and the other knocking her head. Silence fell across the gym. Teachers ran over. Someone called an ambulance. And Nia. She stood tall, breathing heavily, her heart hammering, but not from fear. Later that night, word spread fast. The bullies were sent to the hospital with minor injuries. Nothing serious, just enough to knock some sense into them. But the real talk was about Nia. About how the quiet new girl had turned humiliation into power. About how her spinning wasn't just dancing, it was a message. When school resumed Monday, things had changed. Students who never noticed her before came to sit with her at lunch. The art teacher offered her a spot in the school's dance troupe. And Brielle. She kept her distance. Her pride was bruised far worse than her elbow. Nia didn't become popular overnight, and she didn't try to. But she walked with her head high. She wore her scars like medals, and her story like armor. And when people asked what happened that night, she just smiled. Sometimes, she'd say, "You just have to spin the pain away." Moral of the story. True strength doesn't come from fitting in, it comes from standing tall when the world tries to tear you down. When others try to break you, let your spirit rise. Turn your pain into power. Dance through it. Spin through it. And let them see what unstoppable looks like.